How can we ensure good lives for all, now and in the future? We have the power to bring good to the country. We have the power to make it brighter. From small communities to big cities, by providing energy for all, always. Energy that's reliable and renewable. Power that protects Mother Earth. Power that takes us places, keeping them cleaner and greener. From the centers of our operations to the edges of our network as we serve our customers. We have the power to conserve our resources.
Thanks, Anna. I brought my own.
To protect and preserve our planet. Our one and only home. And to ensure our health without harm. We have the power to care for our people. While safeguarding their well-being, we empower them to deliver excellent customer service, to improve lives towards a brighter tomorrow.
Your new home is now connected.
Thank you.
We can help bring forth prosperity and a brighter future for all. Together, we can light the path, empower the good life today, and for our children's tomorrow. Powering the good life. Meralco.
Since the beginning, Meralco has envisioned providing the country with power to give every Filipino a better and more comfortable way of life. And for 120 years, it has been delivering light, power, and energy to homes, businesses, and industries.
And now, Meralco is moving into a new era. For the past 60 years, the company has worked to create an intensified network and a resilient distribution facility. In the past few years, it has created vital programs to initiate channels of communication and proactively address the needs of its consumers. One important sector of Meralco's consumer base are enterprise customers.
These are institutions that require at least 500 kilowatts of power, and they include developers, manufacturers, multinationals, and conglomerate entities.
It is for them that Meralco created the enterprise segment to serve their power requirements. To enable these facilities to receive optimum power service, Meralco begins with the thorough pre-planning of network assets.
Meralco has also been building smart substations intended to provide adequate and reliable power. We have installed an advanced distribution management system with a wide array of distribution and substation automation and data analytics technologies.
The optimization and digitalization of our grid have made Meralco more productive and reliable.
As a responsive partner in business, Meralco is poised to help customers improve their bottom line.
Hence, we come armed with tailor-fit energy solutions such as contract right-sizing and other measures to ensure energy efficiency and sustainability. And because customers need to understand the full extent of their energy requirements, Meralco conducts such collaborative steps as power quality audit and energy efficiency consultation.
As the world faces increasing challenges in energy supply, Meralco is focused on finding renewable and green energy solutions.
Already, we started operating a solar power plant in Bulacan that has a current capacity of 55 megawatts.
Meralco is looking at sources of clean energy that will not harm the environment, alongside business units that promote clean energy through solar rooftops and electric vehicle adoption.
Meralco has set its sight on building a portfolio of reliable, affordable, and sustainable renewable energy.
Furthermore, we have initiated programs to address issues that affect the environment, like direct emissions reduction, resource efficiency, and waste management.
It is Meralco's commitment to preserve and protect the environment. To narrow the gap, we embark on a series of webinars and fora to connect with and engage our customers.
As our valued partners, it is our commitment to inform them of these energy solutions that Meralco has put in place to meet their ever-evolving business needs.
Through this, we hope to continue to improve their experience with Meralco as we walk with them into the future of energy towards a customer-centric and sustainable future.
A pleasant afternoon to our valued customers and partners. Welcome to another edition of Power Up Live. I am Arnold de Guzman, Industry Lead for Technology and Heavy Industries Enterprise Industrial for Meralco.
Yan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. I'm Sarah Reyes, Relationship Manager of the Services Industry of Enterprise Commercial. Arnold and I will be hosting this afternoon's webinar, which will focus on the latest 2023 outlook from the Department of Energy and how we can secure our energy reserves with the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Law.
Sarah, considering that Pag-asa has already declared that we are now officially in the warm and dry season, we expect to experience a corresponding peak in the demand for power. So today, we are very fortunate to have our esteemed guests from DOE to share with us vital information about the latest power outlook and updates on the Republic Act 11285 pertaining to energy efficiency and energy conservation measures that can help address the tight power situation, especially during summer months.
Okay, that's right, Arnold. So let's jump right into the conversation. To give us his welcome remarks, please welcome our Head of National Government Team of Meralco, Engineer Rene Sua.
Esteemed speakers from the Department of Energy, Undersecretary Rowena Guevara, and Director Patrick Aquino, our valued customers and colleagues from Meralco, a pleasant afternoon to all. On behalf of Ms. Cecil Domingo, the VP and Head of Enterprise and National Government, I am delighted to be here today with like-minded individuals committed to finding innovative ways to improve energy efficiency. In today's Power Up Live webinar, we will hear from the DOE the latest power supply outlook and also learn about Republic Act 11285 or the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Law. This webinar is an excellent opportunity to come together and learn how to actively participate in the implementation of energy efficiency initiatives in our respective companies. What we decide to do today will be crucial in shaping the future of our planet and ensuring a better quality of life for generations to come. Our goal in Meralco is to be a provider of end-to-end energy solutions to our customers. After all, electricity is a catalyst for all business sectors and of course for our own homes. The business landscape has definitely changed post-pandemic, and we are optimistic that the Philippine economy will continue to rebound. Alongside this, confronted by the tight energy supply situation, we must all do our share to take part in ensuring sufficient and reliable power is available at all times. Aside from our speakers from the DOE, we have also invited customer panelists who will share the experience in adopting energy-efficient practices in their respective companies. Our subsidiary partners from MServe are here today as well, ready to assist you in your compliance with the EE&C law. I hope that you get valuable insights from today and take this opportunity to ask questions to our speakers and panelists. Maraming salamat po and have a productive afternoon.
So thank you, Sir Rene. It's certainly going to be another informative and insightful session this afternoon. So as in the past, we enjoin everyone to please find a quiet and comfortable spot with stable internet connection. For better audio quality, wearing a headset or earphones is recommended so you don't miss out on any of our presentations and discussions that will be taking place today.
We also would like to make a few reminders for everyone. So first, please keep your mic on mute. Second, questions may be posted on the chat box. Third, you may also join the Viber group for enterprise and national government accounts. And make sure to scan the QR code being flashed on screen so you can get instant access to news and information from Meralco. You can also reach us via email and through our hotline number shown on the screen.
Okay, so before we introduce our first keynote speaker, we would like to conduct a quick online survey to find out what our clients expect to learn from today's webinar. May we now request everyone to please scan the QR code that we are flashing on screen. or click the Mentimeter link on our chat box. So you can share with us what learnings you expect to take away from our speakers and panelists this afternoon. Okay, so Arnold, I think siguro we can discuss muna while our audience is typing yung kanilang mga expectations for this webinar. How about you? What do you expect to take away from this webinar?
Ako, Sarah, sa totoo lang, biglang init this week, no? So, starting last week, from cold weather, biglang parang nag-start na yung day 1 ng summer.
Oo nga.
So, looking forward ako sa presentation, especially from DOE, dahil, of course, critical ang power supply this summer months. How about you, Sarah? Ano naman ang ine-expect mo for looking forward for the presentation today?
Well, for me, personally, I'd like to know more about yung effective load management practices na i-discuss, no? So that we can, itong mga practices na to that we can adopt in order to mitigate yung tight power supply this 2023. Kasi syempre, we need all the help we can get para masustain yung power supply natin, no? To avoid yung mga outages. Okay, so I think we can read na yung some of the
Yeah. Marami nag-participate.
input.
So,
Yes, very
thank you
active.
very much, no? So,
Ating audience.
siguro magbasa tayo ng mga few comments here, Sarah. So, meron dito nagsabi, how can I comply with the EE&C law? So, yan, maganda. So, matatakel yan later. So, abangan lang
Yes.
ninyo.
Okay, so isa pa dito is yung ways of securing energy daw. So, tama naman. Yan din yung na-discuss natin kanina. Siguro
Yeah,
another
oo.
one. Oo.
Sige, so meron din dito incentives in the EE&C law compliance. So talagang maraming interesado dahil ito is batas na rin naman na kailangan talagang i-comply rin ng mga customers natin.
Okay, another one would be yung rotational brownouts daw, no? They'd like to know yung mga red and yellow alerts natin for this 2023. Okay, so
Okay, so with that, it's time to introduce our first keynote speaker for this afternoon. So she is the current Undersecretary of Department of Energy, supervising the Renewable Energy Management Bureau or REMB and Electric Power Industry Management Bureau or EPIMB. She is seconded from the University of Philippines, Diliman, where she is also a professor at the Electrical and Electronics Engineering Institute. She was also the Undersecretary for Research and Development at the Department of Science and Technology from July 2016 to June 2022, where she serves as the first program leader of the Science and for Change program or S4CP, a 2022 United Nations Public Service Award winner. On top of that, she was the youngest and first female dean of the UP College of Engineering and executive director of the UP National Engineering Center from 2004 to 2010. Let us all welcome Dr. Rowena Cristina Guevara.
Meralco Vice President Maria Cecilia Domingo, DOE Energy Utilization Management Bureau Director Patrick Aquino, participants from the energy sector, representatives from government and non-government agencies, our friends from the media, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. I would like to thank the Meralco for inviting me to speak and virtually meet with all of you today to present the Energy Outlook 2023. First, let us talk about power supply. By the end of this year, a total of 793 megawatt capacity of committed renewable energy or RE projects are expected to come online. Majority of these are coming from solar projects, followed by hydro, wind, geothermal, and biomass, including the 3.4 megawatt Cotabato Sugar Central Company Incorporated awarded under the first Green Energy Auction Program held last year. The Green Energy Auction Program intends to provide an additional market for renewable energy through competitive electronic bidding of RE capacities. Compared to the first auction of JA1 last year, where we auctioned only 2,000 megawatts, we are more aggressive this year and we are looking for RE developers who have the capacity by next year to the tune of 3,590 megawatts. And for 2025 and 2026, we need capacity commitments of 3,630 megawatts and 4,390 megawatts respectively, or a total of 11,610 megawatts. On the right side, you will see the timeline of activities, starting with the notice of auction, which we issued this week. This will be followed by the issuance of the terms of reference, the gear prices, and registration period, among others. The Green Energy Auction Program, or JEA2, will be conducted in June 2023. For this year, we separated the Green Energy Auction Program for geothermal and impounding hydro. This auction will be conducted in the fourth quarter of this year. Following the publication of the Philippine Offshore Wind Roadmap, we have a department circular defining the procedures and requirements for awarding offshore wind or OSW service contracts. An executive order which aims to strengthen and rationalize the regulatory framework for the immediate development of offshore wind in the country is also being reviewed for finalization by the Office of the President. As of March 15, DOE has awarded 57 offshore wind energy service contracts with a potential capacity of 42.2 gigawatts. This is 160% of our current generation capacity. While the numbers look good, the process of bringing wind developers from service contract all the way to generating their first kilowatt hour is a long process. We still have to work out possessory rights, environmental compliance, avoiding marine protected areas, sea lanes, etc. But we have already started the conversation with DENR, BIFAR, ERC, Philippine Coast Guard, Marina, NAMRIA, DTI BOI, WEDAP, and our offshore wind energy service contract awardees. As you may have figured out by now, DOE is going after renewable energy in a very big way to achieve 35% RE by 2030 and 50% by 2040. We also have the following targets: 5% energy savings on oil products and electricity by 2040, 10% electric vehicle penetration rate in road transport by 2040, adopting advanced and interoperable ICT or information communications technology in the energy chain, and resilient and climate-proof energy infrastructure. Our biggest challenge is providing affordable price of electricity to the consumers while allowing the market forces to work and minimize market distortions such as market caps and subsidies, and ensuring supply security and grid reliability in this ongoing power sector transformation. So, what is the power outlook this year? For Luzon, the expected peak demand will be reached this year at 13,125 megawatts, with the assumption of scheduled plant outage from power plants, forced outage assumption, and additional capacity from committed or upcoming power plants. We are expecting 15 yellow alerts and 0 red alert throughout the year. But with the import from Visayas of about 250 megawatts, it would be possible to provide stability to the Luzon supply, and the number of critical weeks with yellow alerts might still be reduced. In addition, with the ongoing developments of LNG terminal that will provide fuel to Ilihan Power Plant tentatively in June 2023, there will be an additional 1,200 megawatts in the Luzon grid. We requested generation companies to avoid maintenance shutdown during the summer months. We are also preparing initiatives for two events this year. First, the Philippine hosting of FIBA World Cup from August 25 to September 10, and the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan Election or BSKE on October 30. We expect 5 yellow alerts and 0 red alerts for Visayas this year, with demand forecast expected to reach 2,691 megawatts. All 5 yellow alerts will fall on the fourth quarter of covering the months of October to December 2023. This is the power demand outlook for Visayas in the evening. During daytime, we do not expect any yellow or red alerts. Also, the summer period of Visayas will be normal with no expected yellow or red alerts. The same thing goes for the period of the election. For Mindanao Grid, having a peak demand forecast of 2,395 megawatts, the power outlook for summer and during the election this year will be normal with no expected yellow and red alerts. The Department of Energy would like to ensure that consumers are informed and provided with stable, sufficient, and accessible energy at all times. Our energy sector is market-driven, and as such, it is the private sector that will be comprising of generation, transmission, and distribution who will have to work very hard to make this outlook a reality. With expected high demand in the Luzon grid during summer, here are the supply and demand side contingency plans for power industry based on the power outlook that I showed you. First, to ensure the availability of supply through the generating units that meet the demand and required reserves, suspension of preventive maintenance and testing of generation units except for hydropower plants, and ensure that there are no forced or unplanned outage during the summer months. Second is the increase in number of interruptible load program or ILP participants by activating existing ILP of other distribution utilities. We expect NGCP or the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines to firm up the day-ahead declaration of red alert notice to give ILP participants lead time to the load capacity and for directly connected customers or DCCs to join ILP. For the Interruptible Load Program or ILP of Meralco, as of January 2023, the total deloading capacity enrolled are representing 117 companies for 260 accounts, totals 560.59 megawatts. Meralco may have updates on the numbers as of March 2023. But what we are hoping to achieve from today's webinar is for more customers to join the pool of participating customers of the Interruptible Load Program of distribution utilities in preparation for the summer of this year. The big customers of distribution utilities can contribute in a big way to demand-side management by becoming part of the ILP program of their respective DUs. The next speaker, Director Aquino, will talk about other programs for demand-side management. Please keep in mind that DOE family will continue to come up with relevant, timely, and fair policies, policy recommendations, and programs in partnership with our stakeholders to deliver secure, sustainable, sufficient, affordable, and environment-friendly energy to all economic sectors. In closing, I would like to thank Meralco for organizing this webinar. This serves as an avenue to discuss energy risks and opportunities that allow innovative ideas to propel Philippine energy development. On behalf of the Department of Energy, let me reiterate that we are committed to continue the initiatives in powering up Filipino communities through clean, efficient, robust, and sustainable energy systems that will create wealth, propel industries, and transform the lives of Filipino men and women and the generations to come. May we sustain positive energy throughout the webinar. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, Yusek Rowena, for walking us through. Notable are the contingency plans for 2023. Some of the things that I've noted: ensure availability of power plants, of course, no unplanned outages. But we as end user, how can we help? So Yusek mentioned ILP participants. So we need to pull in more ILP participants. And on their end, they will ask NGCP naman to have a day ahead notice for you. So let's work on this to have a good summer, especially the critical supply months during summer. And for those of you who may want a copy of Yusek Guevara's presentation, a recording of this webinar will be uploaded on the Meralco website. Once the link is available, it will be shared with all our registered attendees. Also, if you have any comments or questions about the presentation, please go ahead and type them on your comments tab. We will address them during our panel discussion later in the program.
And so we would also like to thank all our attendees for this afternoon. We are now at 841 attendees as of 2:30 p.m. So thank you very much for your time, and please stay tuned for the exciting Q&A later on this program. So thank you again to everyone, to all the attendees. Okay, so let us now say hello to our second keynote speaker for today. So from a career executive service officer to director of the Energy Utilization Management Bureau of the Department of Energy, and has served in various capacities. Recognizing the need for sustainable energy consumption, he has been aggressively implementing the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act and the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, or EVIDA. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for our second keynote speaker for today, the Director of the Energy Utilization Management Bureau of the Department of Energy, Director Patrick Aquino.
Good day, I'm Director Patrick T. Aquino of the Energy Utilization Management Bureau from the Department of Energy. Allow me to present our programs on energy efficiency and conservation, or EE&C, to help mitigate the tight power supply condition in 2023. As part of the continuing implementation of the EE&C Act, the DOE mandates the formulation of a Demand-Side Management, or DSM, program for electric power industry participants to promote the reduction of energy consumption through effective load management, resulting in the decrease of power demand and the migration of power demand from peak to off-peak periods, or such measures undertaken by distribution utilities to encourage end users to properly manage their loads to achieve efficiency in the utilization of fixed infrastructures in the system with the use of energy efficient and/or renewable energy technologies and systems. The DSM guidelines will cover programs for energy consumers from the commercial, industrial, and transport sectors, as well as directly connected customers, contestable customers, and all other electricity-consuming sectors. We also have the guidelines on the energy-conserving design of buildings, which cover new and existing buildings with at least 10,000 square meters of total gross floor area or 112.5 kVA of total connected electrical loads. The guidelines shall not be used to circumvent any applicable safety, health, or environmental requirements of a building, but areas with industrial manufacturing processes are exempt from the guidelines. The guidelines aim for the adoption of an energy efficiency and conservation in building energy sector covering areas such as the building envelope, electrical systems, and mechanical systems, among others. The adoption of EEC in the building sector comes in the form of energy efficiency projects, and the DOE recognizes that to accelerate the needed investments in EEC, such EE projects should be incentivized. The objective is to have a measurable reduction in energy intensity and consumption per year. Department Circulars numbers DC 2021-05-0011 and the recently issued DC 2022-03-006 strengthen the guidelines for the endorsement of energy efficiency projects for the availment of fiscal incentives. From simple and complex EE projects, new classifications arise from new and expansion EE projects. Simple energy efficiency projects refer to those projects that involve new installation, upgrading, or retrofitting of specific equipment or devices in the system. Complex EE projects refer to those projects that involve new installation, retrofitting, or upgrading of a system or a combination of systems. New EE projects refers to innovative EE projects designed to reduce energy consumption or caused by any improvement, repair, alteration, or betterment of any building or facility or any equipment, fixture, or furnishing to be added to or used in any building, facility, or construction of green buildings or vehicles, including the manufacturing and provision of services, or will use electric vehicles in its operations and will realize energy savings during operation and maintenance, may qualify for registration. Expansion of EE projects refer to additional EE projects to an existing and or ongoing EE project designed to further increase energy savings. The government sector also has EE projects. The Interagency Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee, or IAEECC, was created to evaluate and approve government energy efficiency projects and to provide strategic direction in the implementation of the Government Energy Management Program, or GEMP. The IAEECC is composed of the different department secretaries from various government Philippine agencies. Government entities are hereby to abide by the IAEECC resolutions and carry out energy efficiency projects approved by the IAEECC. There are 6 issued IAEECC resolutions. Resolution number 1 directs all government agencies, including local government units, foreign service posts, to comply with the Government Energy Management Program, ordering the Department of Energy to conduct energy audits and spot checks and submit proposed improvements to the GEMP. Resolution number 2 directs all government entities to use energy-efficient light-emitting diode or LED lamps. Resolution number 3 directs all government entities to use inverter-type air conditioning units or similar equivalent technologies. Resolution number 4 enjoins the Council of Good Local Governance to consider, include, and adopt EEC as one of the areas in the criteria per Section 7 of Republic Act No. 11292 or the Seal of Good Local Governance Act of 2019. Resolution number 5 directs all government entities to observe the approved GMP guidelines, while Resolution number 6 recommending to the Governance Commission for Government-Owned and Controlled Corporations, or GOCCs, to consider, include, and adopt EEC as one of the criteria in the performance evaluation system for GOCCs in the grant of performance-based incentives. The Department of Energy also has non-fiscal incentives in the form of recognition or awards. The Energy Efficiency Excellence, or EEE Awards, prescribe the guidelines, including the categories and criteria for the qualifications, processes, and procedures, as well as the timelines on the implementation of the EEE Awards. The EEE Awards aim to promote energy management system and best practices on energy efficiency in all designated establishments, including local and government facilities, adopt innovative energy management approach into policies, guidelines, and practices, motivate industries in implementing energy management practice to enhance business growth, acknowledge demonstrated best practices in industries, and promote renewable energy and energy-efficient technologies in designated establishments. For general consumers, we have the Minimum Energy Performance for Products or MEPP and the Philippine Energy Labeling Program or the PELP. The Minimum Energy Performance for Products or MEPP sets the minimum energy performance rating for energy-consuming products. MEPP aims to eliminate the entry and sales of inefficient products to the market and generate energy savings for consumers. The national energy consumption for designated establishments data will be the basis for the establishment of the Minimum Energy Performance for Sectors or MEPS. The MEP will then be the foundation for the implementation of energy efficiency projects, the target of annual energy reduction, and a vital factor in the periodic adjustment of the energy threshold for designated establishments. MEP for the cold chain sector by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization or UNIDO, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, along with other government agencies, aligns with the goals and objectives of the EE&C Act to provide a strategic guideline to govern one of the more energy-intensive and important sectors in the Philippines. The DOE, with the support of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia or ERIA, through the Meralco Power Academy and the Philippine Institute of Energy Management Professionals, is conducting a survey that aims to record actual consumption data and establish an energy efficiency indicator in the commercial and industrial sectors as defined by the Building Energy Intensity or BEI and the Energy Utilization Intensity or EUI. Lastly is the certification protocol for MEP for electric vehicle charging stations. The Philippine Energy Labeling Program or PELP aims to initiate market transformation and promote energy efficiency through the regulation of energy-consuming products. Initial coverage includes air conditioners, refrigerating appliances, television sets, and lighting products. The star rating corresponds to the energy efficiency rating. The energy label also displays the product details and estimated energy consumption upon use. Sample computation for electricity consumption is also included to enable the customer to compute with the projected contribution of using the energy-consuming product in their household electricity consumption. The energy label also contains a QR code that provides details on the product. Energy efficiency in the transportation sector will be through the Fuel Economy Rating. The issued Department Circular Number DC 2020-10-0023 provides for the framework for the development of the Fuel Economy Rating, Fuel Economy Performance for transport vehicles, and related EE&C policies applicable to all manufacturers, importers, distributors, and dealers of transport vehicles in the country. Also, with the transition to clean energy in the power sector, the use of electric vehicles or EVs is promoted for the next generation's means for transportation. Republic Act No. 11697 or the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act or EVIDA lapsed into law on April 15, 2022 and became effective on May 11, 2022. The EVIDA provides for the development of the EV industry in the Philippines. The Comprehensive Roadmap for Electric Vehicle Industry or CREVI is the national development plan for the EV industry with an annual work plan to accelerate the development, commercialization, and utilization of EVs in the Philippines. This is comprised of 4 components: EVs and charging station, manufacturing, research and development, human resource development. The DOE is the primary agency tasked with the promotion and adoption of EVs, the development of charging stations and related equipment. Composition of the technical working group along with the partner agencies of the DOE ensures to harmonize policies and consistent and streamlined standards for regulation of the EV industry. The DOE has a continuing collaboration with EV players in the country. This is to sustain the development and adoption of EVs through the conduct of the annual EV Summit, where stakeholders meet to share experiences, strategies, and best practices to accelerate the commercialization and adoption of EVs. In preparation for the increased adoption of EVs, DOE Department Circular Number DC 2021-07-0023 was issued covering all activities related to the development, establishment, use, supply, distribution, and operation of EV charging stations. It contains the general requirements for EV charging stations as well as their classifications and requires operators to provide notice to the DOE prior to the engagement in any activity or business in the operation and establishments of EVCS. Before I end, I would like to invite everyone to visit our social media pages flashed on the screen. Let us all do our part to adopt EEC as our national way of life. This concludes my presentation on our programs on EEC to help mitigate the tight power supply condition in early 2023. Once again, I'm Director Patrick T. Aquino of the Energy Utilization Management Bureau of the Department of Energy. Thank you for your kind attention.
All right, so thank you very much, Director Aquino. So in serving our enterprise and national government customers, we have witnessed firsthand how compliance with the EE&C law really brings long-term savings and efficiencies to our customers. As mentioned by Director Aquino in his presentation, let us all do our part to adopt EEC as our national way of life. Right. So in addition, we are one with the Department of Energy in promoting or encouraging the enrollment to the Interruptible Load Program or ILP. As mentioned by Yusek Guevara earlier, for Meralco customers, you may contact your relationship manager for queries. Once again, a copy of the presentation and this webinar's recording will be posted on our website as soon as the link is available. Also, if you have any comments or questions about the EE&C law and Director Aquino's presentation, please go ahead and type them in our comments tab.
And speaking of questions, Sarah, I believe we already have some comments and inquiries coming in through our chat box. Some of our attendees have already posted some comments and questions directed to our distinguished speakers. This brings us to our panel discussion. We would like to call back Director Patrick Aquino from Department of Energy. Good afternoon, Director Patrick.
Yeah, good afternoon to all those joining us for this afternoon's webinar. Again, we thank Meralco for hosting this very important event this afternoon.
Thank you, Director Patrick, for joining us today. And I think we're checking still if Yusek Gabara will still
I'm
here.
here.
Good. Good afternoon, Yusek Gavara. Thank you for taking time to be with our forum today.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you. So Yusek Gavara will join our panel today.
All right. Okay, so also joining us for this highly informative conversation is the Vice President of the Commercial Services Group of MSERV. For those who didn't know, MSERV is one of the largest electrical, mechanical, fire protection, and plumbing contractors and energy service companies in the country. Okay, Ms. Cecil Marvilla leads one of MSERV's commercial teams, and she's in charge of enabling customers with the energy efficiency journey. MSERV is a certified ESCO or energy service company who is leading the way in delivering energy efficient solutions for Meralco clients. Please give it up for Ms. Cecil Marvilla.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Ms. Cecil. Good afternoon.
We also have here with us two enterprise customers who will be sharing with us how compliance to the EE&C law can bring long-term savings and benefits to enterprises. First up is the Division Head for Planning Facilities and Operation of NIDEC Corporation. He is also the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee Chairman of the Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers of the Philippines, or IIEE. He is a professional electrical engineer, an ASEAN Chartered Professional Engineer specializing both in facilities planning, operation management, and energy management, and a certified ASEAN Energy Manager. Let us all welcome Engineer Perry Bellaflor.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation.
Right. Good afternoon, Engineer Perry. Okay, for the second EE&C customer joining us for this panel discussion is Engineer Lucky J. Damaso.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Lucky. Glad you could join us today. Right, so Engineer Lucky is the head of corporate energy for Robinson's Land Corporation. He is an experienced mall and retail operations manager and construction project manager with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry. So as an energy and sustainability professional, he leads the corporate energy initiatives of Robinson's Land Corporation to promote energy management, efficiency, and conservation. He helps look into each business operation to look at energy use, find ways to reduce consumption, and help in the company's sustainability goals. Right. So again, thank you to our panelists for joining us today.
Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the Q&A. The first question goes to you, Sec Guevara. Are there continuing and compelling efforts about reopening the Bataan nuclear power plant? What's the position of DOE on this?
Thank you very much for that question. We are doing step one right now, which is getting the Congress and the Senate and the President to sign a law that creates what we call a nuclear um, regulatory commission. Without such a regulatory commission, we would not be able to open any nuclear power plant. So once that is done, then we will have to take a look at all the technologies that are available for nuclear. But whatever the technology is, the Department of Energy, we are technology agnostic. So it can be the most modern nuclear power plant or the oldest nuclear power plant. But the bottom line is it has to concur with the 19 rules of the International Atomic Energy Agency. So dapat pumasa po doon. Then secondly, we are serious at the department about nuclear in the energy mix. Nilagay na po namin sa aming plan by 2032, we will have nuclear in the energy mix. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you very much, Yusek. Those are exciting news for the Filipino people. The next one is for Director Patrick. How do you think we can secure energy reserves by being energy efficient?
Well, energy efficiency is the first fuel. It's our first line of defense. When we're able to effectively manage our demand, we are able to reduce our requirements for generation, for example. So that is where practices or the deployment of efficient technologies will come into play. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Patrick. Next one is for Cecil Marvilla. If we install EE measures, how soon can we anticipate savings and realize gains since installation is quite hefty on the company's pockets as well?
Thank you for that question. Depends on the technology that you want to implement. If it's a simple EE project, then immediately you can actually already enjoy the savings. But if it's more complex and it involves other subsystems, then you would need to complete the total solution for you to be able to realize results. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Cecil. Okay, the next question would be for both Engineer Lucky and Engineer Perry. So how did you prepare your operations for the implementation of the EE&C law, and what was the impact to your productivity and operations? So I think Engineer Lucky can answer first.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. In terms of the preparation, it's really the alignment of the teams. We're such a large conglomerate and we have multiple facilities. So it's really understanding and by the help of Meralco in encouraging us to comply and making us understand what are the requirements of the law. So it's really that understanding and making us understand the benefit of the law. So aside from the preparation, the impact is really making our teams understand better where can save now. So alam na nila kung saan kukunin yung mga maliliit na energy savings because for the past few years, the company is already doing conservation measures within all of the facilities that they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Lucky. Engineer Perry, how about you?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, EEC law in essence is the effective implementation of an energy management system. So in any management system, top management's role and support is very important for its success. So what we did is we prepared the management with a proper and comprehensive understanding of the law. So well, being part of IIE's EEC committee, I have been conducting information webinars. We call it before the pandeminars. So to the membership since the signing of the law and the release of the IRR in 2019. So explaining the law to the management has, well, I would say become a breeze. So the management easily understood not only the legal obligation it stated, but also the true benefit to the operation of the company and the country itself. As a result, the impact is cost-effective production operation since in any business, actually, energy cost has a significant contribution to the total operation cost.
Thank you very much, Lucky and Perry, for those great insights. Back to you, Director Patrick. What if some businesses downsized or even ceased operations? Will they still be required to submit energy reports?
Yeah, in terms of the reportorial requirements that's coming in on the 15th of April, we're using our online system for the requirements. We are taking it on a case by case basis. So if you believe based on the submission that your particular company is already shifting from either type 1 or type 2 to other, kindly relay it to the DOE through the online designated establishment portal, and we will attend to it accordingly. Thank you.
Right. So thank you for that answer, Director Patrick. Right. So this one is for Yusek Guevara. So we are asked to support the ILP every summer. However, what is the long-term solution in order to address the power situation?
The long-term solution is to have enough supply, because that is primarily the reason why we are asking our friends to enroll and actually do the ILP. Based on our plans, we're targeting 35% renewable energy by 2030 and 50% by 2040. And based on the appetite of the private sector generators for renewable energy, we are seeing that maybe by next year we will have about 4,000 megawatts coming in from renewable energy. If you put in the availability factor of, let's say, 0.5%, that's about 2,000 megawatts coming in. And then the year after that, another 2,000, and so on and so forth. So we imagine that maybe 3 years down the road, we will have enough supply. That is the more sustainable solution to our supply problem. And we're very happy that our generators are responding positively to the call of the department to build renewable energy generator plants.
Thank you very much for that, Yusek Guevara. So that's a very positive outlook for us. But for this year, we also would like to call everyone to join or participate in Interruptible Load Program. And you can call to your relationship managers for more details on this. The next question goes to Cecil. Is it good to use harmonic filters in electrical main supply to prevent electronic equipment from being damaged?
Well, you can do it either way, but it will be more expensive if you do it for each and every equipment that's causing harmonics. So if you install it in the main, it will protect everything upstream. But it's really in the analysis of your electrical facility to determine the best location for the harmonic filter protection.
All right. So thank you, Ma'am Cecil, for that. Okay, so next question would be for, again, for both Engineer Perry and Engineer Lucky. Okay, so please cite some benefits that EE&C programs have contributed to your business and also to the community. I think Engineer Perry can go ahead this time.
Yeah. Maybe I will be stressing that an EEC program is a very cost-effective program. So the benefit really is in its contribution to the profit of the company. So with an EEC system at work, the best benefit also is everybody's engaged. So not only the top management, not only the energy managers, everybody's aim now is how to eliminate energy waste. So it contributes to the overall operational efficiency of the factory. So with regard to the community, an efficient energy operation contributes also in aid to support the EEC law's objective. So of sustaining our country's progress in terms of power sufficiency. Right now, we might have a problem. And in addition, the environmental impact of the program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, how about for you, Lucky?
Hi, good afternoon again. So aside from the financial benefits, as Perry said already, and the other um, my other colleagues, so I want to emphasize further on sustainability and what we're currently doing. So it's really part of the program of the company is really installing solar panels. Currently, the malls have 30 megawatts already for Robinson's malls alone. So it's really that purpose or that thinking of a more sustainable future that we are looking into so that we can help benefit the community. So definitely when you're doing solar or renewable energy, we're reducing our carbon emissions. So it's really helping, aside from the community, helping the environment as well. So that's it for us.
Okay, thank you to Engineer Perry and Engineer Lucky. That's a very good initiative for the company now. All right, so for the next question, this is for Cecil. So how can MServe help customers comply with the EE&C law?
So thank you for that question. We can help them at several levels. First, information on the law. We can do that for them. Then next is helping them prepare the annual reports. And of course, another very a very important part of the law is the audit as well. So we're doing that now for a lot of our customers. And then later on, data visualization of their consumption and then solutions to be more efficient. So at any given level, we can support them, whether it's a small consulting job or a complete rehab of their cooling system. So we are flexible that way. You can reach out to us and we can support you at any given point in the energy efficiency journey.
Okay, thank you for that, Miss Cecil. So it's nice to know that the MServe has these services that we can offer to our clients for the EE&C compliance law. All right, so the next question would be for both engineers Lucky and Perry. So can you share the types of energy efficiency activities that you have or did for NEDEC and RLC? So Engineer Perry.
Okay. So actually, for NIDEC, we have implemented high investment programs as well as non-investment and unconventional practices to realize optimum operational efficiency. So as a 25-year-old company, old and inefficient machines still service the production. So since 2019, we have started the conversion of old chillers and air compressors with high efficiency ones. Though not yet fully implemented, so it is already giving us high returns. So on the other hand, on the non-investment side, one of which includes the compressed air leak reduction on our production areas. So the challenge is when we started this project, we don't have a leak detector available, and acquiring one is really expensive. So what we did, recognizing that energy is really wasted, so with just using the sense of hearing to detect the leaks, though not fully effective, but we have managed to eliminate a significant amount of energy waste, translating to shutting down one of our 150 kilowatt capacity compressor. So the message is implementing energy efficiency measures are not always an investment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Engineer Lucky.
Good afternoon again. So in terms of, I think in terms of energy efficiency, there are a lot of practices that we're currently doing already, especially for the malls. But I want to move this further. So in terms of our company, what we're doing now is not only doing the energy efficiency within the operating buildings. We're putting into the design already of the buildings, specifically doing green buildings for our facilities. So further on those standards, we are increasing the efficiency and the capability of the buildings already for their energy utilization in the future. So it's really the holistic approach that we're doing for the facilities that we are currently building or the communities that we are building. So it's really not only the operational side, we also need to think about the design side of things so that we can implement energy efficiency and conservation. So to align with our sustainability goals and to help the country as well. So that's it.
Right. So thank you for that. No? So it's nice to know the activities that these two companies are doing, and hopefully the other our participants also, they can replicate it in their companies. Right. So Arnold.
Okay, this one is for Cecil. Is it good to use harmonic filters in electrical main supply to prevent electronic equipment from being damaged?
Yes, it's quite cost effective to put it in the main because you don't need to go through downstream, diba? And not have multiple harmonic filters as explained earlier.
Thank you, Miss Cecil. This one goes to Director Patrick. This one is from Fedco. Is there an extension in the April 15 deadline?
Yeah, the deadline is set by the EEC Act, so it's on the 15th of April. Given that there are still companies that are in the process of compliance, what we've set out in our advisory is that a communication be sent to the DOE. And I think at this point in time, that's the mechanism by which any request of that nature is being handled with. So I would strongly recommend that we follow what was sent out and outlined in our most recent advisory. Thank you.
Great. Thank you to Director Patrick. And then the next question would be for Yusek Guevara. So will ILP still continue as there is no reported red alert for this year?
ILP has to be in place because while there are no potential red alerts based on the power outlook, we do not know if any plant will go off suddenly. These are things that beyond our control. While all the plants have moved their maintenance date outside of the summer months, we cannot guarantee that none of them will fail for one reason or another. So the ILP is very important, and we hope that many of those who are capable of being enrolled in the ILP, based on what you've heard from our ILP members, would actually embrace the program because we really need your help this particular year when the demand and supply margin is, very thin. So I'm sure Meralco will welcome you, and the other distribution utilities will also welcome those who are in those other distribution utilities to be part of the ILP program because we need it right now. Do your part, please. Thank you.
Well said, Yusek. So we need more participants and we need to be ready. Yusek, this one is also addressed to you again. Power cost is very high in the Philippines compared to other Southeast Asian countries. Is there any plan to reduce power cost?
The way I see it is that we are an advanced energy sector in the Philippines because we do not have government subsidies. Now, when you have government subsidies, what happens is that it has to be taken somewhere, probably be taken from our taxes. It's just that for the Philippines, we have decided our model will be a little bit different. We do not do subsidy. but instead, we take care of those who need to be taken care of. For example, we have the universal charge for missionary electrification, UCME. We also have what we call the lifeline consumers, which will be changing, by the way, very soon. I think it will be in May or April. Na the 4Ps of the Department of Social Welfare Development will be the ones who will be enjoying the lifeline rates. Dati kasi kahit sino pwedeng magkaroon ng lifeline rate basta below a certain amount of kilowatt hour yung consumption. But this time, we're doing targeted intervention for those who actually need the subsidy. So I hope that our friends, the consumers, both the residential, the industrial, and the commercial consumers will keep in mind that in the Philippines, we have decided that our model would be market-driven and that we do not do subsidy for the energy sector. We do it for others, other things. So I hope you understand.
All right, thank you for that answer, Yusek Guevara. Okay, so we have another question for you. So, when will RE supply be available in the market?
It is already available in the market. In fact, they get priority dispatch in the WESM, in the wholesale electricity spot market. Right now, we have 22% renewable energy as of December of last year. But our target is so aggressive that by 2030, we should have 35% renewable. So from 22% to 35%. Yan po ang bubunuin natin in the next 7 years.
Thank you very much, Yusek. The next question is for Director Patrick. Is there an incentive for the companies who effectively manage to lower their electricity consumption?
Well, first and foremost, the incentive is that you have lower electricity bill. That's the number one incentive for companies to go into energy efficiency. But if you want to package it and get fiscal incentives, for example, there is a procedure that I've outlined in the presentation. And if you have more queries on that, we will be more than happy to explain it to you. Send us an email and we'll walk you through that process. Thank you.
Right, so thank you for that, Director Patrick. So to Yusek Guevara again, though I think this was already you answered this already. No, what is DOE stand on nuclear energy? However, the question after that would be: does having more generation companies lower the cost of electricity?
I have a very nice answer for that. We all know that when the demand is very high and the supply is not enough in our country, we have to run the more expensive plants, like the diesel generators. And that is the reason why sometimes biglang tumataas yung presyo ng kuryente sa ating bansa. But if we have a lot of renewable energy, the cost is a little lower than the other traditional or conventional energy sources. And if they have enough of them, such that we do not have to run the more expensive plants, then the cost of electricity will go down. But this is something that I would like to emphasize to our people. Most people think about absolute value of the cost of electricity. We would like to think that we are going after affordability of electricity. As you know, there are indices that we use in the market. If you compare, for example, the cost of consumer goods other than electricity and the way the prices have gone up over the years, the price for electricity increases is lower than the other types of goods that we enjoy. And simply because it's a captive market. So my point here is that perhaps the better measure for the affordability of electricity is not the absolute price per kilowatt hour, but the percentage of your household income or the percentage of the household expenditure that goes into electricity. Yan po yung sinusulong ng department na sanang maging measure natin kung mahal ba o mura ang kuryente sa Pilipinas. Salamat po.
Well said, Yusek. Thank you for that. This one is for Director Patrick. How can we avail of fiscal incentives for energy efficiency projects?
Yeah, thank you. For the fiscal incentives, there are two department circulars that we have. One is on the energy efficiency strategic investments pathway, and the other one is the simple and the complex. Uh, I cannot go at length in explaining it, but you will have to follow the requirements that we've outlined. And then for additional details, you can send us an email, and we'll walk you through that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Patrick. Okay, for the next question, this is for Yusek Guevara. Will there be will there be incentives for companies that will contract or utilize RE power supply?
Are they talking about consumers?
Yes, po. I believe so.
If you're talking about fiscal incentives coming from the government, there are no such incentives. But in the world market, many countries now require what they call the green requirement. They will ask a company, did you consume green energy? And if you do, they will consider you for a project. If you do not consume enough green power, they might not consider you for a project. So iba na po yung usapan ngayon sa world market. No? If you want to get a contract, one of the things that international companies will ask is, are you green? So yun po yung, I think, magandang incentive yun. Ano? Either you get the project or you don't get the project based on your consumption of renewable energy.
Thank you for that, Yusek. Next question. I think Yusek already answered it. Is there a program from the government to make private companies more interested in the adoption of RE? So I think it's more on the global customers or the supply chain who's pushing for this, for the green. Yes, sige, Sarah, you can read.
All right, sige. To Director Patrick, how do we know what type of DER firm is?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I think there's a technical
Yes.
difficulty on the end of Director Patrick. So,
Okay.
balikan na lang natin siya. So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. The next one is addressed to Cecil of MServe. Are there any plans on reducing the cost of energy audit? For a small facility, we would like to avail, but the cost is too high. Ayan. Cecil, sagutin mo yan.
Thank you for that question. I think market forces have already forced our prices down. If you notice, if you got a quote from us early on, because we were one of the first to offer energy audits, it was quite high. But so far, it has been at par with most of the other ESCO players. So reach out to your relationship manager and maybe we can talk about it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cecil. So again, to Director Patrick. So I'll read the question again. How do we know what type of DER firm is?
Okay, so it's based on your annual aggregate energy consumption for both fuel and electricity. There is a portion of our designated establishment website that will guide you actually on the determination and the filling out of the requirements. You can visit our website at de.doe.gov.ph. It also has a frequently asked question portion. So if you have any concerns in addition to those, you can send us an email within the portal itself or through our email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Patrick, for that. Okay, I think we have another question for you. So, can we still submit our annual energy conservation report even without certification of our energy officer?
I think the advisory that we've sent out in the most recent one, I think February, indicated that if the energy audit was done by a certified energy auditor or an energy service company, that would be sufficient. If it's done in-house, the submission has to be made or validated by an energy service company. So that is how we will be proceeding and treating submissions. We will be checking if you fall within those parameters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Patrick. This one goes to you, Sec Guevara. We have plans of installing a solar farm for the company. We have some offers from third parties, but the return is not that attractive. My question is, how can we avail incentives from BOI or DOE? Who do we connect with?
Teka, dalawa yung tanong, ano? Ang tanong lang niya is, how do we get incentives? Yun lang ba?
Yusek, ang una po niyang tanong is, they have plans to install solar and they have offers from third parties. But I guess he's trying to connect on if there are incentives from putting up renewable sources.
Ganito po, ano, ang magpuput up kasi ng renewable sources yung kanyang third party. If I understood the question right, ano? Tama ba?
Correct, Yusek.
Oo. So, si distribution utility kasi or the third party would get the renewable energy credit for that. Ang supposedly makukuha noong bibili, which is yung nagtatanong ngayon, is that the price should be right. So that is negotiable. Dapat mag-negotiate siya. Ngayon, parang sa guidance, makikita mo naman yung listahan ng mga green energy prices na in-approve dati pa ng ERC. So dapat lower than those rates ya ang makukuha niya. Yun yung hint natin. Pero in terms of incentives from the government, wala pong incentives na binibigay ang government dun sa end user.
Thank you very much, Yusek. Sige, Sarah, you can continue. Yeah.
Okay, thank you po doon sa clarification. Right, for you, Sec Guevara, again, this is from Ted Elma. What are the incentives on the part of the industry to join the ILP?
Pag nag-join ka ng ILP, meron kang matatanggap for participating, tapos meron ka ding matatanggap for the cost of being a participant. So 2 parts bale yung makukuha mo na bayad. The ERC is currently in the process of reviewing the rates for ILP. Kasi nga, na-raise dati na parang hindi attractive enough. And so the ERC is in the process of reviewing it. And our hope is that maybe by April or May, mailabas na nila yung bagong rates for participating in ILP. But the bottom line is that there will be, for participating, there is a price for that. Tapos for the, what you are losing because you are participating, there is a price for that also. And we hope that it will be attractive enough for our ILP participants.
Thank you, Yusek. This one is for Director Patrick. From Mr. Jerwin Vidal, what is the role of local governments in the EE&C law?
Well, the role of local governments, number one, on their part, they also have to have their own local energy efficiency and conservation plan. That's number one. Number two, as we move towards the regime of making sure of the Philippine Energy Labeling Program, they will be also fees, which will be starting at the 2024. So those are the two things that the local governments will be helping us in the terms of the implementation. Rest assured that additional functions and roles for our local government units will be matched with the necessary capacity building requirements for them. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you, Director Patrick. I have another question for you. This is from Randy Venigas. So do we have a timeline for the employment of CECO or CEM?
Yeah, for the requirements for the employment of the CECO and CEM, that should coincide with the submission, which is on the 15th of April every year. the procedure with respect to the requirements, there is a certification program already in place. So that is how we will be complying. There are recognized training institutions already which will be providing those requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Patrick. This one is for Cecil. From Mr. Randy Vaniegas, what are the qualifications for SECO and CEM?
So it's all outlined as well in the website of the DOE. So technically, for energy managers, is for you will need 2 years experience in handling a similar facility as your facility now, and for SECO, it's for type 1, and you will need a year of experience operating a similar facility. There are, I want to also promote that Meralco also has Meralco Power Academy, and they are authorized by the DOE to conduct certification courses for SECOs and CEMs. So again, you can reach out to your relationship manager and we can process the proposal for you.
Right. Thank you for that, Ms. Cecil. Okay, so another question for Yusek Guevara. Is the new IRR for the new 1 megawatt net metering limit already out as reported last September 2022 by DOE?
Okay. Alam mo, bago lang ako sa DOE. Pasensya na kayo. I've been here for 3 months and 5 days, so hindi ko alam ang sagot sa tanong na yan. But one of the things that we are in discussion right now is that we are concerned that the uptake for net metering is not as we expected. Yung number of nagbe-benefit sa net metering. So we're trying to get to the bottom of the problem kasi nga pagka in my mind napakaganda nung policy eh. Pero ang baba nung uptake, yung number of net metering customers. So give us some time, no? We're trying to figure out what will make the policy move forward faster. Pero alam ko pag sinabi nilang in place talaga yan. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Yusek. This one is for Director Patrick. Our building is fairly new, operational since 2019. We have already in place some energy conservation measures such as magnetic chillers that is operated via chiller management system, pumps with BFD and BMS controlled LED lightings. Are we still to be subjected to the audit?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The purpose of the audit, number one, is for baseline information. The audit requirement itself is outlined in the EE&C Act or 11285. What you can do, since you have started the operations, is that indicate in the submissions, those material facts. If you take a look at the requirements of our designated establishments portal, it really sets out to guide individual entities and designated establishments on their energy efficiency journey. So long story short of the answer is that the energy audit is still required. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Director Patrick. Okay, so another question for Director Patrick. Is the government subsidizing the cost of EVs or the construction of EV charging stations?
Well, right now, I could neither confirm nor deny that the government will be in a position to subsidize or have a program related to EV charging station rollout. What I can confirm is that the comprehensive roadmap for the electric vehicle industry sets out very ambitious targets for us under the business as usual to reach 10% electric vehicle penetration under a business as usual scenario that will be by 2040. And then at a clean energy scenario, we're looking at 50%. And based on the CREVI itself, there has to be additional interventions needed. At this point in time, I'm not at liberty to confirm if government will be going into targeted deployment of EV charging station infrastructure. But what we can tell you and signal is that we've been doing public consultations on the requirements for EV charging station provider accreditation, as well as the registration guidelines for charging stations, our EV characterization department circular, for the availment of fiscal incentives for the government, as well as our requirements in terms of harmonizing the EV characterization. So those are the pending issuances there. But your guess is as good as mine that in addition to what the President has signed, Executive Order number 12, which suspended import tariff for battery electric vehicles earlier this year, we would be needing additional interventions like those to reach our more aggressive target beyond the 10% of the business as usual to reach 50% EV by 2040. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Director Patrick. This one is for Perry and Lucky. How has compliance to the EE law benefit your business or company so far?
Perry, maybe you can answer first.
Oh, actually, as mentioned, the benefits of EE law basically is as mentioned is a very cost effective program. So and also uh, uh, what you call this having this such kind of program also develops the person inside your company. So everybody's into it. As I mentioned earlier, everybody's doing a thing about the program. So the good thing with an EE law, an EEC law rather, is that all the stakeholders are involved. So everybody from actually based on our operation, even the security guards are involved. For example, turning off of lighting, making sure that the air conditioning units are turned off if not in use. So basically, the benefits is from top to bottom, from all stakeholders, from financial benefits to well, outside impact as environmental impact to the community. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So it's nice to know no, that all of you in the company are doing your part for this energy conservation activities in the company. So that's very nice. Engineer Lucky?
As I've said kanina, yun nga, it's aside from the financial benefits and the environmental benefits, I would like to emphasize further, binanggit din ni Perry na it's really helping people understand what are the benefits of doing this and making us understand as well what are the real whys of energy efficiency and conservation and how we are helping the planet and definitely our children. And why are we doing these things? Because definitely our goals is to make this a safer planet as we grow further in terms of how we use electricity or energy in terms of our everyday life. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Perry and Lucky, for that. This one goes to Director Patrick. Are religious institutions exempted in the implementation of RA 11285?
Very good question. As you read the text of 11285, it doesn't give really any exemptions. But it has been brought to our attention some of the concerns coming from our religious groups. In an upcoming circular or issuance, we will be coming out with a mechanism to try to mitigate that aspect. Clear cut under the EEC Act, it just speaks of annual energy consumption. So that is the basis by which businesses, entities, or even religious organizations may be covered under the requirements of the law. Rest assured that this is not the first time that this has been elevated to us. And we will be coming out at a future issuance of a mechanism to try to mitigate this. But right now, our reminder is that until that issuance comes out, let us comply with the requirements as indicated in the existing Memorandum Circular 2020-05-001. And the deadline again is on the 15th of April this year for your reportorial requirements for 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Patrick. So April 15, please take note, everyone. This one goes to Ms. Cecil from June Mars Somalinog. For MSERB, based on your audits for both commercial and industrial consumers, what are the most common issues that needs to be corrected to improve the energy efficiency in facilities? So Ms. Cecil, can you give us some free consultation?
The typical finding is that your air conditioners are no longer efficient. So in the Philippines, kasi if you know, 60% kasi of your total building load is actually on cooling. So we look at that first, and more often than not, cooling systems are not very efficient. So they lack maintenance, or it's undersized, so it's performing, it's working harder, and there's no way of tracking consumption for that particular load. So if I have one suggestion for everyone, please look at your cooling systems first, and you will reap the most benefits by looking at that and focusing on improving your cooling system.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Cecil. So the next question would be for Yusek Guevara. So what will be the advantages and disadvantages, if any, of joining ILP for a hotel which operates for 24 hours?
Does the hotel have generation or not? Meron silang generator?
Yes, meron po. I believe.
Okay. Kung meron kang generator, tapos alam mo kung magkano yung price nung iyong pagpatakbo ng generator, ko-compare mo ngayon dun sa makukuha mo sa ILP. Kung mas mababa yung generator mo na patakbuhin mo kaysa sa ILP, we suggest that you join the ILP. Pero kung mas mataas, we suggest you don't join the ILP. Practical lang po tayo.
Thank you, Yusek. This one goes to Perry and Lucky. Can you share the current building energy utility index of one of your buildings?
Okay. Lucky, would you like to answer first?
Mukhang napatawa natin sila. No?
Iniisip ko lang kasi almost 100 facilities yung meron kami. Anyway, so in a certain context kasi, we have a range of buildings built from the 1990s up to the most recent ones. I think the thing that we need to look into is really on what are the standards currently of the Philippine Green Building Code now, and there are other certifications that we can follow internationally. We have LEED, we have EDGE. So those are the things that we can benefit from in terms of the guidelines. For Southeast Asian nations, we also have Singapore as a benchmark in terms of, kasi kung wala pa tayo, because we don't have a national benchmark yet in terms of the energy utilization. As a reference, we can do Singapore, I think, as a reference, aside from the green building requirements that we are currently having now. So it ranges from 100 kasi to 200 EUI, so depende sa 12 hours or 24 hours yung facility mo, di ba? So I think it's really making us understand where to benchmark our facility and how it operates so that we can maximize the benefit of our energy utilization. So that's it for me. Thank you.
How about Engineer Perry?
Yeah, very hard question because I'm not as mentioned, I cannot share any figure. But anyway, actually our company has multiple products actually. So basically Also, our products are unique in the market. So during our energy audit, actually, that's one of the problem of our energy auditors on how to benchmark the consumption, the kilowatt hour per piece that we have. So anyway, even if I can share, so we basically you cannot really set one company's energy utilization index to another. So the best practice basically is comparing it from your previous your previous performance. So you can start your energy efficiency and conservation programs. Then you try to compare if actually that's the real performance checking, if you are really performing or not, because sometimes the fault with energy management is that they're always looking on cost and consumption, but really you need to check the kilowatt hour per component factor, as we say it in energy management terminologies. So well, anyway, you can try to benchmark with your previous data, and after you have implemented your programs. Sorry for that.
Okay, thank you for that, Engineer Perry and Engineer Lucky. Okay, so we're down to our final question for this segment. So this goes to Engineer Perry and Engineer Lucky again. So can you share EE efforts or initiatives as the heads or officials in your respective companies? Engineer Perry, you can go ahead. You can go first.
Okay. Basically, I'm part of the top management, but I'm actually new with the company, and when I've joined the company, energy or RA 11285 is not known to everybody, even the facilities. So as part of the top of the company, so the first thing I've implemented or educate or performed is to educate them about the new law of RA 11285. So as mentioned, I've been advocating it. I've been educating through the IIE EEC committee. So with that, we have actually our experience for our EEC implementation is really as mentioned is really easy because of all the questions, maybe not all the questions, but as most of the questions has been answered because of my experience with the law, or my knowledge with the law and familiarity with the law. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Engineer Lucky.
It's really, I think we need to understand the benefit. So we need to understand the benefit of energy efficiency for the company and for the things that we are doing. So aside from the specific things like what we do in terms of energy efficiency conservation, like putting solar or renewable energy, doing efficient chillers, we really want to emphasize that energy saving is really not just having some savings. It's really part of how we preserve the environment or how we do things. It's part of the culture as well of the company. So it's really finding that agenda or mission of that journey. So it's really that's what we want to emphasize. That energy efficiency is not only a one-time thing, it's really a journey that we need to tackle and bring to life with, sabi nga ni Director Patrick. Sige. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to Engineer Perry and Engineer Lucky. Okay, so thank you to all those who raised their questions and clarifications. That's all we have for today's Q&A session. But before we get the final words from our panelists, we would like to do a series of questions with them. So this is fast talk style.
Okay, so ready na ba ang ating mga panelists? So the first question will be answered by Director Patrick, then by Cecil, then by Engineer Perry, and then by Lucky.
Okay, now let's start. So here we go with our Power Up Fast Talk EE&C edition.
Okay, let's start.
Let's take
Director
Shaw
Patrick.
and
Director Patrick, are energy saving devices helpful?
Well, we've gone on the record and say that the best energy saving device is practicing energy efficiency. So bottom line, if somebody tells you that you plug it and you save, no, that's not true. You save by being more efficient. You save by being investing in the efficient technologies. There is no magic plug that will magically reduce your consumption. You reduce your consumption by behavioral changes and investing in energy efficient technologies.
Okay, so to Cecil, voluntary EE&C law compliance or mandatory?
Mandatory for designated establishments, but the audit is voluntary for the others na DE for now, until Director Patrick changes the rules.
Next is to Perry. Best EE tool or program applied in your organization?
Oh, our online energy monitoring system.
Okay, Lucky, best energy conservation tool RLC has prescribed to?
It's really energy awareness for everyone. So if people won't be aware, it will not be a thing.
And to Yusek, overall sentiment on power supply outlook?
The future looks good. This summer, let's all work together to make everybody's life bearable. Thank you.
All right. And thank you everyone and to our panelists. I hope you had fun with our fast talk. Before we formally conclude our panel discussion, may we ask for some closing messages from our panelists. Let's start with Director Patrick.
Yeah, thank you again to Meralco for organizing this webinar. Again, the message of DOE is simple. You have the power because energy efficiency starts with you. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have Yusek Guevara?
The power to change is in our hands. Let us make it happen.
Thank you for that, Yusek. May we ask Perry Bellaflor?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this afternoon's program. So hope that what we have shared will be of aid to you in your own journey to compliance and to everybody's goal of having EE&C, our way of life. Thank you.
Right, so thank you, Perry. May we now call on Engineer Lucky J. Damaso.
So thank you again for inviting us and maraming salamat. So hope everyone really had a good time and learnings about our energy efficiency journey. So good luck to every one of us na nagpa-practice for energy efficiency. Salamat.
Thank you, Sir Lucky, and to Miss Cecil.
Thank you. At MServe, we are here to be your partner in energy efficiency. So reach out to your relationship manager and they will be able to arrange a meeting with us so we can start your energy efficiency journey.
Okay, so that's it. That's correct. So we have dedicated relationship management teams from our enterprise and national government customers. So we are always here to serve our customers' power needs.
That was certainly a very informative discussion. We hope that this exchange was able to enlighten us all about the importance of energy conservation and compliance with the EE&C law, and how we can all do our share in securing energy reserves in our country given the latest power outlook.
Right, so thank you very much to our esteemed panelists, starting with Yusek Guevara and Director Patrick Aquino from the Department of Energy.
And thank you to Ms. Cecil from MServe, Engineer Perry Bellaflor from NIDEC, Lucky J. Damaso from Robinson's Land Corporation. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We value your opinion and would love to find out your thoughts and suggestions about this afternoon's webinar. Please scan the QR or click the link posted on the chat box to answer the post-event survey. We will also be sending you the link via email.
Right, so this series of webinars serve as a platform for us to provide our corporate clients with end-to-end energy efficiency ideas and power quality solutions.
That's right, Sarah. We will advise you about our forthcoming Power Up Live sessions and send you invitations ahead of time.
Okay, we are also showing on screen the QR code for you to join the Viber group for enterprise and national government accounts. Make sure to scan so you can get instant access to news and information from Meralco.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, our Power Up Live session has come to an end. It has certainly been a pleasure hosting this event for you this afternoon. We hope to see you again on our next webinar. Again, I'm Arnold de Guzman.
And I'm Sarah Reyes, thanking you all for joining us this afternoon. Through these Power Up Live sessions, we hope to continue to walk our clients into the future of energy and towards a sustainable future. A pleasant day to everyone.